No, you don't need zoom optics or LPVOs in Airsoft. Some would even argue you don't even need a red dot. But I realize that these things aren't completely useless, but they aren't very practical in the Airsoft context. Now, as a product, they are very good. Like this Vict Optics Fiber S6 is very nice, very clean. It serves its purpose. But the question is, what is that purpose in Airsoft? Well, it's not defending you from getting shot in the face, because I got shot in the face, that's why I have this patch on. But I recently played for the first time with the Fiber outdoors, and I might be regurgitating, but this is probably gonna help some people in the future if they're thinking about getting an LPVO for Airsoft, or even this one. But there are some issues with it, and it has nothing to do with the product, but it is to do with just LPVOs in general and Airsoft in general. So off the cuff, we're gonna put some gameplay here on the side, and you guys can watch that while I ramble and yap. LPVOs don't have unlimited eye relief, and you have to have a certain distance from it in order to see through the optic. Now, in reality, if you have time to actually set up and play like a camper or whatever the heck, it's very easy to just kind of, set it up, get that cheek weld, and then you're kind of good to go. And then with this LPVO, and most LPVOs anyways, they should have like a really nice bright red dot that you can kind of catch it really quickly. Close one eye just to kind of get a proper picture, especially if I was zoomed in two or three times, whatever it is, it's even harder. So I have to like really kind of focus in and kind of see what I'm doing in very, very split seconds. Like, it's not like I'm setting up like this. It's like, oh, there's a guy right there. I have to kind of get him and try and catch him. It's either A, I'm just gonna be point shooting, watching the BBs go, or I'm gonna have to like try and get in there really quickly. So that was the only thing that kind of sucked with it, is that in reality, in high intense situations, these things are really, really difficult to use compared to a red dot. And some people would say like get an offset and just kind of go like this, but the way hops work, it's just gonna curve down into the floor, so I don't even bother doing that. And if I'm in really, really close engagements, I'll use my handgun, but for some reason I just wasn't using it. I haven't really played Airsoft in a while. But that was one of the main issues, is the eye relief. Now, the zoom is also another thing too, is that, yeah, you can zoom to 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, depending on the country and the power of your Airsoft toy. You're not even going to be reaching those ranges. So I zero my Airsoft toy for 30 meters most of the time. And I could push 40, but I just don't like hops doing this. I just like to have a straight and then drop. So 30 meters, and most of the engagements, depending on the map and how close you are, is you're not going to reach those engagements. The good thing about this, or LPVOs, is they have like etched patterns, so you can kind of see the little dots and the little lines, so you can kind of like lob the BBs and see what's going on, which works in theory, but in practically, if you're not positioned well or your gun just can't go that far, you're not really benefiting from the zoom, other than being able to adjust your shots and take very close precision shots, if that makes any sense, because there isn't that much precision in Airsoft. I did find a few moments where I was able to like shoot through a crack, or somebody's like little foot was like showing, so I would just be able to like look through the dot and just kind of like really, really precisely shoot there, given that I had the time to actually do it. So again, that just comes with, how good you are at the game sense, positioning, all that. I feel like there have to be certain conditions for you to actually use an LPVO or zoom optic in Airsoft, which is good. It's good for snipers, because snipers are chilling, right? So that's what I kind of found was the issue with this. And the other one is for Airsoft, you use a lot of real face gear and stuff like that, or your headphones or whatever. And when you're not, having any of that gear on, it's very easy to get a cheek weld. I can even do this, but in reality, when I have the gear on, I have to have this thing almost fully extended and kind of just go like this. But other than that, I would say that this is a very good tool to have for recon and precision shots. I actually use this a lot to kind of just on the fly switch zooms here and there to see if there were people hiding in bushes, see if that little thing over there was an enemy, see what's going on here and there. And that's where I found it was very useful to have. And I feel like maybe for like milsims or slower paced games, like this is very useful for that. But if you're an aggressive player, I can't really recommend using the LPVO. Even if you put it on 1 times, it's still like you still got to find that box. And I would rather have the ADS speed and the unlimited eye relief of a red dot in order to just like get up there. I remember I was like using this in the MP5, and the MP5 was just so much easier to use. It wasn't as wieldy, is that the word? Bulky to use. And you know, I just didn't find that this was practically useful for that particular situation in that particular field. I feel like this is really good for woodland games. I wouldn't use it for urban, and I would not use it for CQB. I would also want to raise this higher to a 1.96, because even though this is high enough for like real steel shooting, for airsoft, no, bro, you're not gonna be able to do it. And because you raise it even higher, you're also gonna increase the height over bores, which means it's not gonna be that much more practical for a CQB. So that is the issue, and it has nothing to do with the actual optic itself. It just has to do with the context of airsoft and the limitations that it sets. But yeah, that's just kind of a short video for anybody who's thinking of picking up an LPVO. Which one would I recommend if you're going to pick one up? It'd obviously be this one, because sponsored, not sponsored, but the S6 is affordable and it's super fantastic. I've used other ones that are like and anything higher than this grade is like getting really, really expensive, and it's not really worth it again for those same limitations. Yeah, you're gonna have super clear glass at 6 times, but you can't even reach those ranges, so there's no point. But I imagine for real steel shooting, this is fantastic, great option. But for me, I would choose this more than a magnifier though. I wouldn't want to use a magnifier. I hate those. I hate magnifiers. They just don't work. They have horrible eye relief. I'd rather use an LPVO, but at least you get best of both worlds with that thing. But yeah, this has been kind of a short review on zoom optics and airsoft in general, and kind of on the L6, which I honestly think is a great optic. If you guys want to pick one up, it's right there down below. And yeah, so see you guys in the next one. And if this video is still running, I'm just gonna keep playing the footage until we get to the 8-minute mark, because mans need money. All right, peace. Ah!
All right, here we go.フルオート OK だっけ？シェッ、近い近い、ドラム缶。Reloading.